Senator Graham, what is your advice for the lawyer?
See you tomorrow.
Oh, nothing, just a juror hashing out a strategy together with the defense team behind closed doors. Yep. Totally normal. This is Lindsey Graham leaving a meeting with Donald Trump's impeachment lawyers after being joined by two other Republican senators, Ted Cruz and Mike Lee. Graham had reportedly stayed in the meeting for approximately 70 minutes. Trump's lawyer, David Cohen, said that the senators were, quote, very friendly guys who just wanted to make sure they were, quote, familiar with procedure. First of all, I'll bet they were friendly. They've been posted halfway up Trump's colon for the better part of 4 years, so I have no reason to believe they wouldn't be friendly to the guy defending him. And second of all, these senators acting as jurors were trying to get familiar with procedure in a closed-door meeting with the defense team? Is that how it works? Admittedly, I'm no lawyer and I haven't spent much time in a courtroom, but I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that the defendant's lawyer might not be the best resource for tips on procedure if you're at all concerned with looking like an impartial juror. Now, when asked if it was appropriate to meet with the senators during the trial, Cohen said, "Oh yeah, I think that's the practice of impeachment," adding, "There's nothing about this thing that has any semblance of due process whatsoever." First off, is that the practice of impeachment? Or is it just the practice of a Republican Party too corrupt and partisan to even bother to care about optics? And so 3 people who are supposed to be impartial jurors will sit for a more than 3-hour-long meeting with the very people who are on trial so that they can hash out a strategy together. Because if given the choice, I'd probably go with the latter. And second of all, Cohen reverts back to this idea that there's no due process in this trial. But think about that sentence. How could there be no due process when a trial is quite literally due process? A trial is what due process is. If anything, the way that there's no due process is because the people whose responsibility it is to act as jurors in that trial are meeting with the defense. If that happened in any normal trial, those jurors would be excused faster than Tucker Carlson could find a migrant caravan to complain about. But because we have a political party that is fundamentally opposed to democracy, this is somehow okay. If you needed any other indication that the GOP, from the top all the way down to the bottom, traffics in projection, it's Trump's impeachment lawyer complaining about due process while hashing out a strategy with the very juror of that trial. And look, let's not pretend this process wasn't already dripping with hypocrisy, because remember, there are currently 12 Republicans serving in the Senate who voted to either impeach or convict Bill Clinton for lying about a sexual encounter, who already voted to dismiss Trump's trial now, and who are widely expected to vote to acquit him, meaning that lying about oral sex was apparently disqualifying for these people, but not inciting an insurrection at the US Capitol that led to the deaths of a number of people, as well as an assassination attempt on the Vice President and the Speaker of the House. Got it. In fact, here was Lindsey Graham in 1998 detailing just how wide the scope of impeachment actually was.
So the point I'm trying to make is you don't even have to be convicted of a crime to lose your job in this constitutional republic if this body determines that your conduct as a public official is clearly out of bounds in your role. Because impeachment is not about punishment. Impeachment is about cleansing the office. Impeachment is about restoring honor and integrity to the office.
That sure is a lot of righteousness from a guy now running strategy meetings with the defense team of the guy who got his supporters to storm the Capitol looking to kill people who were doing their constitutional duty of certifying an election. I can't tell who was a bigger partisan hack between 1998 Lindsey Graham and 2021 Lindsey Graham, but what's beyond clear is that he's certainly proven that he's a hypocrite. Now, with that said, these senators taking this meeting wasn't illegal because this isn't a criminal case, it's a political one. The argument could be made that it's a breach of the oath they took at the outset of this trial to do impartial justice according to the Constitution and laws. But the issue is that while they swear this oath, there's no recourse if a senator is partial, which is clearly what we're seeing right now. And this is a common theme for the GOP, that whatever they can get away with, they will. Which is especially fitting for a trial in which the former president himself incited this insurrection, knowing full well that his own party would be too cowardly to do anything to stop him, yet again showing that whatever they can get away with, they will. But while the outcome of all this may be predictable, it's not just Donald Trump who's on trial here. It's every senator whose legacy will be inextricably linked to how he or she dealt with the seditious president refusing to abide by the peaceful transition of power and instead trying to anoint himself the winner of an election. A vote to acquit will stain their reputation forever and render them just as guilty as Donald Trump, if not in this trial, then in the history books. While you're here, please check out my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. I take a deep dive into the top stories of the week, and I also interview major players in the world of politics, like Kamala Harris, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Pete Buttigieg, Katie Porter, Al Franken, Cory Booker, Jamie Harrison, Mary Trump, and many more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts.